Hello Darts Nutz, welcome to Darts Review channel. So I'm just going to do a quick update on the Unicorn Ultra 2. I did promise to do an update about 4 weeks after I did the initial video, but obviously with Rocky not being well the last few weeks and eventually passing away, I am by other priorities looking after him basically, so I didn't really get much thrown done, but I was trying to throw about 100 darts a day. I have probably managed to do about 2,500 darts, just a bit less than that. I've got the exact total on my clicker thing, but anyway, I'll just do this quick update, and then when I've got to 10,000 darts I'll do a more involved update. But initial impressions are that the board itself seems to be healing up quite well. Here's a couple of holes that I can see that haven't closed up, but most of the holes have healed rather well, and especially on the black sections. It's very hard to see them on the black sections. It's mostly the white sections where you can notice them. But some of the reservations that I had about the board kind of like borne true. Basically, although you look at the board and it really pops with all the colour and everything, I do find the logos around the doubles and the bright orange slightly distracting. I have slightly dodgy eyesight. I mean, I do kind of have like a double vision problem. It's not like a full double vision, it's kind of like a ghost outline, and that kind of bothers me when I'm going for the doubles. Kind of got used to it the more I played on it, but it's still something I'd rather not have. I know people like the symmetrical rotation, but for me it's not something that's ever bothered me. I think I'd rather just have the whole area like black and just maybe the one or two logos, but other than that, the only other way would be to make all the logos like a grey or dark grey colour, bit like that, but make them smaller, and then that might not be so bad. The numbering, I'm a little bit in two minds about that. Again, it's very bright looking, but I think the numbers, I don't know if they're actually bigger than some of the numbers on other numberings, but they almost seem bigger. I don't know if it's because of the way that they're seated on the board, but one thing I have noticed is when my darts hit them sometimes, they don't have ping off. There's a few darts have gone right up to the hockey when I've been throwing. Now that's something that could easily be rectified if you wanted to, or you just take it off. But again, it's personal preference, I think, that as well as with the logos. Now the black spider, where I've been throwing this board is mostly in the loft space where I'm going to put it down. Where my skylight is. Now during the day when the sun's shining through the skylight, the board looks really nice. The colours really pop with that black spider, almost like looking at a stained glass window, and I really enjoy throwing at it during the day when the sun's shining. But on the night time when I put the board light on, there's sections of the spider which I don't know whether they've actually raised up a little bit since my video. I can't remember now, but it feels like they're a little bit like more sticking out there and less there, so it's not as flush to the board as I would have liked it. But because it's sticking up a little bit, the lights, when you put your lights on around your board, there's just a bit of a shadow there, and the shadow added to the black spider makes it look as if it's thicker than it is. Again, something that you can get used to, I suppose, and it may depend on the individual's eyesight whether it bothers them, but for me it does bother me a little bit, and that's why I find it better to throw out during the day when the natural light is on it and there's no like shadows on it. It's just coming straight through the window and making the board look really nice and clear. Now the black spider has also got some marks on it where the darts have hit it, and I think the more darts that you throw at it, the more you're going to see marks. There's just very small little silvery specks showing, but I've only thrown 2,500 darts, so again, when I've done more, we'll see if it's got any worse. But I think that's going to happen no matter what. So if that's something that bothers you, then it may be something that you want to consider if you're thinking about purchasing it, because it happened with the boards that we had in the past, which were white coated, after you'd used them for so long, they looked really scruffy with all the chips of white paint coming off and what have you. But maybe this will hold up better, I don't know yet, we'll see. But I actually do enjoy throwing at it. My darts really make a nice sound when they hit it, and it's just got that pleasant feeling when you're throwing at it. So overall, I'm quite happy with it. But like I said, that problem with the logos, it's the same as on the Aspar and the Tor. I think it was less of an issue on the Aspar. The Tor's on the wall there. Now, the Tor's logos have been made bigger, so it kind of still is a bit distracting to me, but the colours are not as like eye-popping as that orange, and that was the problem that I had with the Samurai Infinity 2, that kind of like bright blue colour. It kind of distracted me a little bit, so it could be just down to the individual whether that's an issue or not. So I mean, that's up to you to decide. But other than that, so far, initial impressions are quite favourable, so I'll give you a close look at the board, but there's not really a great deal to see at this present time, but I'll give you a look anyway. Alright, so I'm going to give you a close look. Now, if you look at the spider, you can see like little white flecks, I mean silvery white flecks. That's where the darts have hit the wire. So obviously the more darts that hit it, the more you're going to see that, but I don't think it's too bad at the moment. Now, if you look, the sisal fibres, I mean, like I said, I've only 2,500 darts thrown at it, but it still looks rather good. But you do see some of the holes on the white sections a little bit more. There's a little bit of a fibre pulled there, and just a little bit there. But other than that, I think it's been doing really well. I have done a mix of throwing around the board and throwing at the 20s a lot, but I'd say maybe 90% of the time I've been throwing at the 20 area. But you can see like little areas where I've chipped the wire. Now if you look at the spider here, it's almost perfectly flush to the board, but on this section up here it's raised up. Now I can't remember in my initial video whether it was like that or not, so I'll have to go back, but I think the fact that it's raised up like that is what's creating the shadow when I have my lights on. It's not a massive problem, like I said, but it's enough to make it look as if the spider is thicker than it is with that little bit of a shadow. And as somebody did say, the bullseye wasn't quite central. I couldn't really tell at first, but after they've mentioned it and I can see it just about now, it's mainly because of my dodgy eyesight. But anyway, that's that. But there you go. It's just a quick update on it, just to let you know how it's getting on. But although there's some pluses and negatives, I think overall, I think it's a very pleasing board to throw at. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes after the 10,000 darts thrown, and then be able to compare it with the other boards. So that's the end of this video. I'll see you on the next one. Happy darting.